As much as life has changed over the last year, you're still pretty busy, so consider convenient COVID-19 testing from Quest. Get the same tests hospitals use without a doctor visit. Simply order online, select from drive-thru or at-home options, and get results sent securely to your phone or computer. It's a great fit for your busy life. With over 25 million COVID-19 tests processed, you can count on Quest. So order your test today at questcovid19.com. That's questcovid19.com.
The new year can be a good time for a mental health check-in. If you always wanted to try therapy, or you'd like to try it again, or if you just need to talk some things out. BetterHelp offers online licensed professional therapists who are trained to listen and to help with issues including relationship conflicts, depression, self-esteem, grief, and more. With BetterHelp, you can simply fill out a questionnaire to help assess your specific needs and then get matched with your counselor in under 48 hours. Easily schedule secure video or phone sessions, plus exchange unlimited messages with your therapist from anywhere. Everything you share is confidential. And if for any reason you're unhappy with your counselor, you can request a new one at any time at no additional charge. Join the 1 million plus people who have taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced BetterHelp counselor. BetterHelp is a convenient and affordable option, and our listeners get 10% off their first month with the discount code STITCHER. Get started today at betterhelp.com/Stitcher. There's no shame in asking for help.
Welcome to Star Talk, your place in the universe where science and pop culture collide. Star Talk begins right now. This is Star Talk, Cosmic Queries Edition. I'm your host, Neil Degrasse Tyson, your personal astrophysicist. And today's topic is, we had to get there. We had to, everybody's got to do it. Everybody's got to do it. Sharks. We are sharking today. And I've got as my co-host, Jordan Klepper. Jordan!
Neil, excited to be sharking with you.
Okay, love you, man.
Love you, man. We're going to talk about sharks today. I'm excited.
We're going to talk about sharks, but neither you nor I have any expertise in this at all.
We know nothing about sharks. Neither between us, we know zero.
I just know they have teeth. That's all I need to know. They're big and they're hungry.
Spoiler alert, you're ruining this for me, Neil.
So we've got a special guest, Jasmin Graham. Jasmin, welcome to Star Talk.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so you have. I didn't know you could do this. Your degrees are in biology, marine biology, and you specialize in sharks. This is a thing.
It is a thing.
That's a thing. And you've got your project coordinator for Mars Silase. What is that? Mars Silase. I see Mars. But I don't think that's what you got there.
Not that Mars.
Not that Mars. Mars Silase. That's a whole acronym.
It is an acronym. It has a long name, Marine Science Laboratory Alliance Center of Excellence, which I spent the first week of my job trying to say without stumbling. But we are a program that's geared towards increasing minority participation in marine science.
Oh, okay, cool. And so you're also co-founder of MISS, M-I-S-S, Minorities in Shark Science.
Yes. So that is also a program that's geared towards supporting minority students, specifically women of color in shark science. So it's a little more specific than my Mars Silase project. But yes.
I don't mean to sound, narrow, but that's got to be a hard sell to go up to the hood and say, "Hey, everybody, let's go find sharks," right? Does that work? Is there enough curiosity? Like if I'm growing up in the hood and I'm not thinking about sharks, do you have to overcome that?
So to some extent. So I think what happens for a lot of people is they bring up this idea of sharks in the ocean at first, and then people in their community are like, what? And then they feel self-conscious, and they're like, I mean, whenever I told my family I was going to go study sharks,
They
were
said,
like,
"What?"
You're going to get it. Because they don't even get in the ocean. They fish, but I mean, they fish to eat. They're not trying to play around with them and figure out what they're doing. So I think the first time that I asked, like, what do fish do when they're not on our plate? People were like, who cares?
As long as they're tasty. Yeah. If you're going to be tasty, I don't need to know what you do in the ocean. Wow. So very cool. So Jordan, you collected questions from our fan base.
Got plenty. People are excited to talk about sharks.
And so sharks spilled over out of the other places into Star Talk. We had to go there. All right. So Jordan, give it to me. What do you have?
Let's jump right in with Bike and Bird Patreon subscriber. He's got a question. How affected, if at all, will sharks be affected by climate change? At what temperatures do the waters have to stay for them to remain comfortable?
Oh, I love that question.
Yeah.
So what's going on there, Jasmine?
So that's a really great question, and something that a lot of researchers are interested in figuring out. So sharks can't maintain their own body temperature. So unlike us, where we run the same temperature unless we have a fever, they can't do that. So they are greatly affected by their environments. And so things like climate change are things that are definitely going to be affecting sharks. We don't know how much. We don't know at what point it becomes something that they can't deal with anymore. As far as what's the ideal temperature, that varies with sharks. So some sharks live at really cold, for a shark, cold temperatures, and then some are like in the tropics. So it depends, and there's a specific ideal temperature for every species of shark. So researchers are really focused on the individual species and how they're going to be affected. And then another important thing is their habitat. So there's a lot of sharks, especially the small coastal sharks, that depend on things like mangroves and reefs and seagrass. And so when those start to go away...
The little sharks, they just bite off a limb or a few fingers, right? The little sharks. Right?
The little sharks. So the little sharks are just swimming around, living life.
We don't have to have nightmares about the little sharks.
That's what I'm wondering. I just want to know.
The big ones we have to worry about.
Yeah, I just want to know, when do you need the bigger boat, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, the most sharks are going to be like so small that you're not even like thinking about them. So they're just swimming around. Of course, the really big ones are the ones that get all the attention, the great whites and the tiger sharks, and they are above average size. Most sharks are just like hanging out at like 4 or 5 feet long, and they're just chilling. Most of the sharks that you're going to encounter, like going to the beach and stuff like that, you probably have a shark within 100 yards of you at all times, but it's probably like 2 feet long.
Now you tell me this, but so do the little sharks just bite off your finger? That's all.
The little sharks just like swim around, and usually they get scared really easily. So if you make any sort of movement, they're going to be like, oh my goodness, that is a big animal, and I don't know what that is. Run away.
I'm even afraid. Do they brush against your thigh? That frightens me.
Yes. If you're in their way and they're swimming, yeah, they'll bump into you.
These stories are frightening. They're all frightening.
I guarantee you, Jordan, that shark that touched you is freaking out. Like, oh my God, I touched a thing and I don't know what that is. You're both freaking out. Everybody's freaking out. Just let it happen.
It sounds like high school. We don't know what the boundaries are. Somebody touches somebody else. You're freaking out internally. It's more about what's going on inside than anywhere else.
Yeah,
so Jasmine, let me hypothesize something. I didn't know sharks were very sensitive to their environmental temperature. The water temperature. So if that's the case, and you have global warming, the water temperatures rise, they might have to swim to a lower depth where it's cooler than they previously had been, and that would change the food available to them. Is this a possible scenario in a climate change future for sharks?
Yeah, that's definitely a possible scenario. And if your prey moves, you got to move. Like if you're eating fish and all the fish swim over here and you can't follow them, that's a problem.
That's the end of you. Yeah, that's right. Right. Darwin fixes that immediately. Right. Very cool. All right, Jordan, what
that
else
was
you got?
Actually that was the first rough draft of the Jaws screenplay. it doesn't end with a gunshot. It ends with the slow building of temperature change and the inability to regulate body temperature. It was about a 7-hour film.
And they had to evolve the shark so that it fed at a different depth, right?
It took a while. It's hard to tell that in any kind of efficient way. So they're like, you know what, screw it. Let's have them shoot some kind of canister in his mouth.
Right.
I got a question here from another Patreon subscriber, Brian Flowers. My girlfriend Laura would like to know, with so much of the ocean unexplored, can it be said definitively that the megalodon is extinct when tooth specimens not matching their extinction dates have been found?
Ooh. So wait, tell me about the megalodon. There's a movie, right?
There is a movie called The Meg, which is an interesting experience. I knew that we were going to be in for a wild ride when the poster came out and the megalodon had like 13 gill slits. I'm like, that is like twice as many gill slits as this thing should have. But so a lot of people ask that.
I'm sure Jordan thought the same thing when he saw.
I was
the movie
like,
poster.
you know what? I'm all in, but this doesn't feel at all. They didn't do the research. That I'm gone. Usually,
The authenticity just went out the door.
Statham is usually so good with authenticity. I was shocked.
Yeah. So lots of people ask that of like, well, how do you know? Okay, first of all, they were ginormous. Ginormous. And it's not like they were living in the deep ocean. That was not the case. It's not like, oh, they could be down deep in Mariana's Trench and we could drill them up accidentally. No, they didn't live that deep. That's not a thing that was happening. Also, the biggest way that you can tell is by the size of our whales. So whales are really big now. Whales didn't always used to be big. They used to be small and fast. And the reason why they were small and fast was to avoid being eaten by the megalodon. So that was their main defense against getting eaten by a megalodon, was like, all right, this thing is really big. I just got to be really fast. So they would be really small and really fast. And then megalodon went extinct, and then was the rise of the great white shark. So now we have a shark that's much smaller and much faster. So then the whale's strategy kind of changed a little bit. So they actually evolved to be so big that it would be a hassle for the great whites to try and eat them. So if they were all super big and slow during the time of Megalodon, they would have 100% gotten taken out. Like Megalodon would have been like, a sperm whale. This is just a light snack.
Okay, so what you're saying is they weren't bottom dwellers, so you would see them. You would see them. You can't hide a huge animal.
Yeah.
And their prey that's interesting, because one way to know about whether an animal exists is whether its prey is rampant in an area. And then you say, well, there can't be that many foxes if you see many rabbits. Right? This is a fair or ecological statement to make.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Things co-evolve together, and whenever the thing that they're trying to avoid goes extinct, they're like, woohoo, free for all. We can get as big as we want now.
Well, I gotta defend the movie one last chance here. So if the megalodon is extinct and gills are not made of fossilizable tissue, how do you know they didn't have 13 slits?
So
Am I good there, Jordan? Jordan, I think I got her on this.
Neil, I think this is you. You said you came into this saying you didn't know about sharks, but this is a
slap down. Okay, yeah, go on.
So gill arches fossilize. So cartilage doesn't fossilize nearly as well as bone, but cartilage does fossilize. And we have a lot of scientists, not me, this is not my field of expertise, but a lot of scientists do a lot of work on reconstructing from what little evidence that we do have. So yeah, we don't have a lot of evidence of Megalodon, but we do have all of their relatives, and none of their relatives have 13 gill slits. So it is highly probable that they didn't have 13 gill slits either, even though we don't have, all of the fossils and everything like that. And we're doing a lot of estimating and guesstimating. So can I say 100% that they didn't have 13 gill slits? No, I cannot. But the chances of sharks going from 13 gill slits to 5 that would be a lot of changes that we need to.
I got you. Okay, that's fair. Very fairly argued there, I think. It's like
I don't know, Neil, push back on that science. If you're trying to base it on like my weird uncle, if you're using my weird uncle to date whether or not I'm going to be a 350-pound conservative from Indiana, it's just not going to match.
Well, that's what happens because, where the anthropologists, they find the one skeletal remains and then everything about the entire species is anchored to that. So if they found your uncle and that was the representative human of all humans, you're saying we'd have issues.
We would have issues. As long as they don't go looking in suburban Indiana, then he's not going to be the original man.
The fossilized version of the original man. So a variant on this is, do you portray your dragons with 4 limbs plus 2 wings? Or that is 1, 2, 3, 4 appendages plus 2 wings? Or are the front limbs the wings? Okay, and so in Game of Thrones, the dragons, the front limbs were the wings, as is true with bats and any other sort of vertebrate that flies. So you can't just throw in another pair of appendages and in the model that we have here on Earth. So is that a fair analogy, Jasmin? Do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you have to use what information you have, and yeah, we're drawing dinosaurs and prehistoric creatures and stuff to the best of our abilities. And sure, we get things wrong, but we do have a blueprint. Right. They didn't totally change shape that quickly. That's not how evolution happens. You don't go like, oh, and then suddenly there was an individual born that had an extra pair of limbs, and then they procreated with another individual that had an extra pair of limbs, and suddenly everyone had an extra. That's not how that works.
That's very Bio 101 right there, Evolution 101. All right, Jordan, what else you got?
I got another Patreon subscriber, Joy Pinero Denise. Considering mammals return to the ocean and dominate it, have sharks reached an intelligence plateau? Would climate change ironically provide an opportunity for sharks to adapt and become more intelligent?
Ooh, I like that. First, Jasmin, just set it straight. The mammals in the ocean did not evolve there. Is that correct? I mean, they were mammals on land and returned to the water.
Yes.
That is crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of back and forth. So we have life starting in an aquatic setting. Then there was some that went to land, and they did all this evolution on land. And then they were like, you know what? Land is like, I'm just going to go back.
Land is overrated.
Like Tulum. You're like, oh, it was cool for a little while, but I'm coming back. For a little while.
They went back into the ocean, which is weird because the ocean can kill us as humans, right? This is not a first thought. And so for some species to have that thought, they've got to have some pretty good adaptable elements to them.
Yeah. So you have, especially where you had situations where there were major predators on land and they couldn't go in the water. So why don't you just run into the water and then the predator can't get you? And then, you have some individuals that are born with some special adaptations that help them in the water. And then they're more successful because they can hang out in the water and avoid the predators. And then that just kind of builds and builds and builds and builds and builds. So you have this situation where you're like, there are lots of dangerous things on land that are trying to eat me. Wouldn't it be great if I didn't have to contend with those individuals? And so that's kind of how this directional shift happens. And then you also have things like, big asteroids and stuff just like decimating the air quality. And if you were in the water and you didn't breathe air, you're like, haha, joke's on you. It's not a problem for me.
That's cold. You're going to carry on like that. That ain't right. Also, it seems to me that a lot of the aquatic mammals have a very significant fat layer on their bodies. So if you were sort of fatter, plus fat is more buoyant than muscle. So if you were a fatter mammal, you could survive lower temperatures in the water relative to other mammals, and you wouldn't have to come out as soon. So I see how this could lead to this. So yeah. So in the future, if our only salvation is the ocean, the skinny people all die.
What? Oh no!
Your crazy uncle, Jordan. He knows what's up.
I was going to say, As you were saying that, I was like, the larger folks survive longer. He might do okay in Indiana.
We got to take a quick break, but when we come back, more with Jasmin Graham. We're talking about sharks, past, present, and future on Star Talk.
Exploring the secrets of the cosmos is a fascinating pursuit, but have you discovered the vast and incredible potential of your own mind? Introducing Advanced Nootropic Formula from V-Thrive, the Vitamin Shop brand. Available at vitaminshop.com or your local Vitamin Shop store. This stimulant-free formula supports cognitive function, neuron development and repair, and brain-derived nootropic factor to promote the survival of existing neurons and encourage growth of new synapses. Non-GMO Advanced Nootropic Formula features clinically studied ingredients like Synapsa for peak cognitive performance, Cognizant for mental energy, focus, and attention, and clinically proven in extra so you can stay extra sharp. In fact, you may experience an improvement in alertness for up to 5 hours. As always, all V-Thrive, the Vitamin Shop brand products, are simply clean with no magnesium, stearate, stearic acid, or titanium dioxide. Advanced Nootropic Formula comes with a quality promise you can trust with ingredient purity and potency verified by independent third-party labs. The best part? It's on sale. Save 15% on purchases of $40 or more when you use code STARTALK at vitaminshop.com today. Again, that's 15% off purchases of $40 or more with code STARTALK on vitaminshop, SHOPPE.com to expand your mental universe today. Are you always taking care of your family? Do you often take care of others and not yourself? Well, now's the time to take care of yourself because you deserve it. Teladoc gives you access to licensed therapists to help you get back to feeling your best, to feeling like yourself again. Sometimes we don't know how much we need to talk to somebody. Take it from me personally. During the entire pandemic, I have had virtual sessions, and it has been such an incredible help. Now, with Teladoc, you can speak to a licensed therapist by phone or video. Therapy appointments are available 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. local time. Hey, maybe you're feeling overwhelmed. Maybe you feel stressed or anxious or depressed or lonely, or you might be struggling with a family issue. Teladoc can help. No need to wait months to get a therapist. Teladoc is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches so they make it easy to change counselors if needed for free. Teladoc therapy is available through most insurance or employers, and individual plans are also available. Download the app or visit teladoc.com/StarTalk today to get started. TELADOC.com/StarTalk. So you're ready to earn your degree, but you need a university that works with your schedule. Well, WGU and their programs are built to be flexible. WGU offers a quality degree program that's affordable and even makes it possible to graduate faster. Plus, you can earn a respected bachelor's or master's degree for under $8,700 per year. Fees included. That's right. You heard me. That is the correct. $8,700 per year. Let your experience and dedication help you earn your degree faster. See what WGU's competency-based programs can offer you. With no set login times and 24/7 access to most coursework, you can really earn a respected bachelor's or master's degree on your own schedule. The low tuition rate covers as many courses as you can complete each term. That means the faster you learn, the more you'll save. Get your $65 application fee waived at wgu.edu/StarTalk. That's wgu.edu/StarTalk for your $65 application fee. Poof, gone, waived.
We're back. Star Talk. My co-host Jordan Klepper. Jordan.
Neil. Sharks. We started this and we both agreed that we were walking into this with a certain amount of ignorance. And I'd like to think I've learned nothing. up to this point. But that's not because the information isn't good. It's just it's really hard to get through me. Right now, I'm still thinking about the logistics of the movie The Meg, but I'm going to get through it.
Okay, so you just confessed the density of your skull to both of us here.
Oh no, I wasn't supposed to tell anybody.
So Jasmin, you have a master's degree in biological sciences at Florida State University. Florida, there's a lot of marine science in Florida colleges, isn't that right?
There is. I mean, we're a peninsula. We got a lot of ocean.
Got a lot of ocean. Plus, you're going to be gone in the global warming.
Oh yeah, Miami is gone.
Gone. Yeah,
sorry, Miami.
Florida, like the average sea level in Florida is like an inch above sea level. They're lucky high tides don't take them out every single time.
Colleges in Florida having to do with climate change and also the way we fund upper education. Not something to invest in.
Not the best combination there. So, how long have you been interested in sharks?
Since my freshman year of college.
Okay, so did you watch Shark Week or something on Discovery Channel or something?
I did watch Shark Week when I was a kid, and yeah, we watched a lot of Discovery Channel. But I didn't think about sharks, really. Like, you study them. That was not a thought that crossed my mind. I actually didn't even know that you could be a marine biologist as a career until I was like a junior in high school. And then I was like, what? You can get paid to do this? Sign me up. And then I went to college and I met a professor who did shark science and did study the evolution of sharks. And he was just super excited about sharks. And then I just got excited by osmosis. And I was like, sure, I'll just come work on sharks. And then the more I got into it, the more I was like, whoa, sharks are really, really cool. I'm going to study sharks forever.
Excellent. And because they're so different from other marine species, just everything I read, they don't have bones, right? They just have cartilage. Is that right?
Just cartilage.
So their teeth are stronger than their scaffolding.
Yeah. Which is important if you're a predator. Like, it's important. You got to be flexible and nimble to chase things, and you got to have strong teeth to eat them. It's a perfect design.
Perfect killing machine. All right, Jordan, you got more questions for us?
I do. We've got a question here from Facebook. This is from Kevin Hardy. Why are surfboards and wetsuits painted black to make humans look like seal food to sharks? Why don't we use high contrast zebra prints to break up the silhouette?
Ooh. So wait, just so I understand, if you look up from below, the shadowing of the surfboard, it looks like a seal? I didn't know that. That's what this implies. Okay, so Jasmin, so what the surfer community, they almost take pride when they show you their shark teeth scars, right? That they survived it. What's your responsibility to them?
So if if a shark is looking up at them and they're on the surfboard, it does kind of resemble a seal or something that is actually shark food. And so, like with the coloring and the pattern and stuff, that's not going to really make a huge difference because the sharks aren't really going to be able to tell that you're zebra print from, like, if they're looking up at you, they're just looking at the outline, at the shadow. So the best thing to do is to try your best not to look like a seal. So, like, try not to flail around and definitely don't surf in areas where there's high shark activity. Like, if there is, some bait balls or something. Bait balls are like huge clouds of fish swimming really fast in one direction. They're running away from something. You should probably move. Just be observant.
Take your cues from other species.
And if you have any sort of dead or decaying animal around, then don't go. So, like, there's a movie called The Shallows that came out a while ago where she's like surfing by this big decaying whale thing, and I'm like, first of all, why? Like, there's a large decaying animal, just like a smorgasbord for sharks, and you're like, I'm gonna go surf right here. And then I'm going to get knocked off my board and I'm going to climb on the dead whale. Why is that a decision that you made? Like, just stay away from things that sharks eat so you don't get confused with food. Because, usually you have shark bites. And for the shark, it's like, I wonder what this is. I wonder if this is edible. Chomp. Ew. Nope, that's not what I thought it was. Swim away. But, like, that little chomp is like, whoop, there goes your leg. So you don't want to even be in a situation where the shark is confused and needs to check you out. Just like, keep your distance away from things like huge bait balls or like where people are fishing or dead decaying animals. And just if you have a lifeguard or someone tell you like, hey, there are sharks mating in this area, I don't think it's a good idea for you to go surfing. Don't say like, this is America and do what I want. You can, but that might not end well.
This is America.
So as long as Americans are just logical and think through things, we'll be fine. I don't have a lot of faith.
Anyhow, so Jordan, give me some more.
You know what? We're gonna stay on this movie-inspired idea. Somebody really wants to know. Cameron Jefferson from Facebook. If a tornado started over a school of sharks, what would really happen?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm sorry to say.
No, wait. Jasmine and I don't know what they're asking about.
Neil, Neil. Neil, admit it. You and I have talked offline about Sharknado for hours.
No, we have not.
It's your favorite movie. You have posters up right now. People can see your office. It's nothing but Sharknado posters.
All right, Jasmine, what's up with that?
So as glorious as it would be for an entire school of sharks to be lifted up in a tornado and just like plopped at another location, no, sorry, that's not how that works. But it would be so cool and like,
But Jasmine, you're undermining the main premise of that movie series.
It's still a great movie series because it is utterly ridiculous and super entertaining, and don't let that stop you from enjoying Sharknado. Like, don't let it stop you. It doesn't claim to be accurate. That's not what it's claiming to do. It's claiming to entertain, and it succeeds.
I thought it was based on a true story. That's my bad.
Yeah, the great Sharknado of 1917.
So Jordan, I don't. You guys know I had a cameo in Sharknado 6.
I didn't know that. You were in Sharknado 6?
Yes, I had a cameo. And I was overlooked by the Academy. I thought, I thought that performance was totally worthy of some kind of award. But no.
Do you remember your line from Sharknado 6?
No. I played Merlin, and because in Sharknado 6, I bet you didn't know there were 5 other Sharknados.
I was going to say there's multiple surprising pieces of information.
Jasmine, did you know there were 6?
I knew there was a lot. I didn't know the number.
Yeah. So in this one, the tornado opens a portal through the space-time continuum and goes back to medieval days. And in so doing, shark DNA merges with dragon DNA. So you have shark dragon-nados. And I'm in the medieval times, Dark Ages really, and I play Merlin, and I do actual science, but people think it's magic.
That's a pretty good call.
That's what I thought. I said, I could do that. And I think I ride one of these shark dragons in the tornado. I was on a green screen, rocking pony. But yeah.
But important question, how many limbs did this dragon Sharknado have?
I don't even remember. But Jasmine, I'm very proud of you and delighted to hear that you were entertained by this movie series without being distracted by the little bit of science it got wrong. So Jordan, give me some more.
Let's head to Facebook. We got Manuel Arguello. He asks, what innovation used today can we attribute to research done with sharks? Actually, I like this with Neil. We've talked in the past about our love of space, our love of NASA, and all of the fun innovations that come from focused on trying to get to places like the moon.
Right, you did a whole special when you visited NASA headquarters.
We did, yes.
Not headquarters, one of these centers, yeah.
Yeah, we talked all about that. It's like even those who are frustrated about our attempts to get back to the moon or to Mars, it's the byproduct of that kind of ingenuity is bad.
Yes. So Jasmine, can you justify what you do?
Yeah, that's the more direct way of saying it.
I get that all the time. So now I get to dish it out to you. All right, Jasmine, what good is it for the rest of us?
So there's a lot of materials that come from sharks that people use in things like lotions and medicines and makeup and stuff like that. There's a compound that's found in their livers, which helps them be buoyant, that people use on a lot of different things. Also, a lot of
Wait, I didn't know sharks wore makeup.
They don't, but people do. And yes, for all of you people out there that are right now looking at your lotions and being like, it doesn't say anything about sharks. It usually calls it like squalene or squala something. That is shark liver. So you
shark extract. Whoa.
Whenever you're putting that on your face.
Oh, okay. So you got this list in progress. All right. So what else?
There's also been a lot of engineering feats that have been based off of the hydrodynamicity of sharks because they've spent millions of years evolving. They're super speedy. They cut through the water super fast. So a lot of that engineering principles when they're designing underwater vehicles and things like that comes from you looking at the structure that evolution has already provided as the winning structure, which is the sharks.
I thought I remembered, wasn't there some bathing suits in the Olympics that people wore am I remembering this correctly? That was inspired by shark skin or something.
So they had denticle or things like denticles, which are these modified scales that sharks have. They kind of look more like teeth, actually. And as someone that's gotten shark burn a lot, it really hurts whenever they rub against you. They are sharp. They are sharp little things. And shark burn is a thing if a shark rubs against you.
Okay, but wait. But why would you make a swimsuit out of that that resembles that?
Because it helps them cut through the water really quickly. It cuts down on drag and friction as they're moving through the water.
Oh, okay. I get it now because what you can have things that look like they would interfere, but what they do is they break up turbulence and force much more laminar flow where you can go through. Okay, I'm with you on that. Very interesting. Very, very good. Okay. And something else about the teeth. Anything we can learn about the fact that they have multiple teeth, multiple generations of teeth?
Yes, they have rows of teeth. So basically their teeth are just always good to go. So, you chip teeth. I mean, they're eating things that are really tough and they're tearing at stuff and they're like, oh, I chipped a tooth or my tooth fell out, whatever. There's another one back here and it's just like, whoop. And so they just always have fresh teeth. It's like whenever you have knives, your knives get dull and you have to resharpen them. How cool would it be if you used your knife and it got dull and you're like, it's fine, I got another knife right here. It's just like, boom, boom. Super useful.
Okay, so it's because sharks are so different from all other aquatic fishes that it gives us these sort of unique, interesting questions and solutions.
Yeah, and I mean, they do lots of really cool things. Like they heal super quickly, which is something that we as humans are like, hey, how do they do that? That might be something that's useful. How are they healing themselves? Maybe we can use that in medicine and things like that. There's a lot of diseases that they don't get that we are interested in researching and trying to figure out what makes them resistant to those types of things. And can we recreate that and use it in human medicine and stuff like that? So there's a lot of things. Whenever you have something that has been evolving for so long, it's like, why reinvent the wheel? Nature already figured out what works. Humans aren't going to do any better. We should just borrow what nature already figured out. We could figure out a way to make it useful to humans.
Okay, so what's left unsaid here, Jordan, is to get all of these products and to study the shark in this way, you have to kill the shark.
Sometimes you do, yeah.
Yeah. It's not like we're studying primate livers and making lotion out of it. There'd be objections to that. Mm-hmm. So I think since sharks like to eat us, we don't have any problems killing them for whatever purpose that can serve us in return. It's unspoken, but that's basically true.
We've set up a way in which it's fun to watch the gladiatorial nature of man versus shark, so therefore we get good lipstick out of it.
So yeah, unfortunately, there are a lot of sharks that are killed, 100 million a year. And that's why we're doing a lot of things for conservation of all right, guys, we're killing sharks way faster than they can replace themselves because they grow slowly. They take a long time to mature. And so we don't want to take them out faster than they can replace themselves. So there's all kinds of conservation and stuff that goes into that where we're monitoring the stocks. And we're doing things like assessing their population sizes, and we are trying to put regulations in place of there's not a lot of these types of sharks left. You can't fish for these types of sharks. So we're definitely moving a lot into the regulation. But I think a lot of it is like what you're saying. We have this negative perception of sharks, which is unwarranted because they're just living their lives. And we therefore feel like we can do whatever we want to the sharks versus like a dolphin that's like everyone thinks is all cute and whatever. But really, they're like the same. One's a mammal, one's a fish. But they are both apex predators. They both have sharp teeth. They both are really good at what they're doing, but we've decided that dolphins are cute and sharks are scary, so we can kill sharks.
Right. So if you drag a dead shark onto the beach and say, oh, look what I killed on my boat, people say, wow, that's cool. If you dragged a dead dolphin, say, look what I killed, people would ostracize you.
Yeah. So
this is speciesist, or what's the word? Speciesist? What's the word?
You're speciesist.
Specious.
Yeah, you're being specious. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So that's why
you're not racist. You're speciesist.
We're working so hard to change the perceptions that people have of sharks and trying to show them like, okay, there's a lot of benefits to sharks, especially the ones that are apex predators. They're maintaining balance in the ecosystems. They're really important. Sharks aren't out to get you. They're not like hunting you down. They're not really even worried about you. And yeah, it's just people are really afraid of getting bit by a shark, which, yeah, sucks to get bit by a shark. But the chances of that happening are very slim. The chances of getting bit by a dog, however, are very probable. And we bring them into our houses and we put cute outfits on them. So like,
you're going into specious territory right there. You be careful. Well, some people like pit bulls. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. If you put pit bull in your house.
And some people like anacondas, That's just what they...
Can't we just all be equally afraid of animals at the same level? I'm afraid of sharks. I'm afraid of pit bulls. I'm also afraid of dolphins. I'm afraid of cats. I could be afraid of everything on an equal level.
Yeah, you should be concerned about all animals. Like all animals have the possibility to injure you. Just give them their space and don't make them mad.
All right, we got one more segment coming after this break on Star Talk.
The new year can be a good time for a mental health check-in. If you always wanted to try therapy, or you'd like to try it again, or if you just need to talk some things out. BetterHelp offers online licensed professional therapists who are trained to listen and to help with issues including relationship conflicts, depression, self-esteem, grief, and more. With BetterHelp, you can simply fill out a questionnaire to help assess your specific needs and then get matched with your counselor in under 48 hours. Easily schedule secure video or phone sessions, plus exchange unlimited messages with your therapist from anywhere. Everything you share is confidential. And if for any reason you're unhappy with your counselor, you can request a new one at any time at no additional charge. Join the 1 million plus people who have taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced BetterHelp counselor. BetterHelp is a convenient and affordable option, and our listeners get 10% off their first month with the discount code STITCHER. Get started today at betterhelp.com/Stitcher. There's no shame in asking for help.
With Masterclass, you can learn from the world's best minds anytime, anywhere, at your own pace. Learn how to ace your opponent from Serena. Improve your writing skills with Neil Gaiman. Learn how to negotiate with Chris Voss. All right. Those were the courses I chose, but you'll have over 90 classes to make your own choice, and they're all taught by world-class instructors. Now, of course, the master instructor, Dr. Neil Degrasse Tyson, has a masterclass of his own on scientific thinking and communication, and we all know how important that is in these times. I'm not the only one who's benefiting from my masterclass. My brother is an avid tennis player, and I sent him the gift of a subscription so he could get schooled by Serena. Did I tell him that it was a part of my subscription? Well, let's just say the answer rhymes with ho, ho, ho. From learning how to write anything from a book to a screenplay to communicating with your boss to how to make dinner worthy of a Michelin star or just the best scrambled eggs this side of a jumpy chicken, there's a masterclass for you. I'm in the middle of a course on sex and communication because I'm good at one of those things. Masterclass is accessible on your phone, web, or smart TV. You can get an annual membership to Masterclass and give one to someone else for free. Get unlimited access to every Masterclass for you and a friend right now. Just go to masterclass.com/StarTalkRadio. That's masterclass.com/StarTalkRadio. You know, there are a few things as satisfying as bringing a creation to life. And with Glowforge, you'll feel like a 3D laser printing Michelangelo as you use your Glowforge to cut and engrave a world of materials like wood, metal, glass, leather, and so many more. And because you can start with finished materials, it only takes seconds for the laser to create something ready for you to show off or sell. Create and make just about anything, and you don't have to be an engineer to design beautiful objects thanks to the easy-to-use Glowforge software. And I'm speaking from experience. Check out our YouTube Star Talk explainer videos on wormholes and the Mobius strip to see my 3D laser print of both. Yes, I was able to print a precision version of a wormhole and a Mobius strip utilizing a design Glowforge calls the living hinge that brought my material to life. I am so hooked. Everything I see, I think, how will I Glowforge that? So far, I've etched pictures into glass, printed a unicorn for my daughter, personalized some gifts with engraving. I love this thing. You'll love it too. You can bring home your own Glowforge with the absolute best price Glowforge offers. Get $500 off your Glowforge Pro when you go to glowforge.com/StarTalk. That's glowforge.com/StarTalk. And you can thank me with a 3D laser print. What shall it be? Hey, here's a Patreon shout out to the following Patreon patrons: Yakov Goldberg and Sebastian Roser. Guys, thank you so much for helping us make our way across the cosmos. Without you, this show would not be possible. And for those of you listening who would like your very own Patreon shout out, please go to patreon.com/StarTalkRadio and support us.
We're back on Star Talk, and where we left off in this shark edition of Cosmic Queries is Jasmin tells us that we shouldn't kill sharks unless we want to make lotion out of them, and then it's okay.
That is not what you heard.
That's not what she said.
That's what I heard. I heard that too.
Well, I heard that. I swear that's what she said. No, just we need to understand how they fit into the ecosystem and not be so speciesist about what animals are cute and which animals are not. That's really what this comes down to.
There are some cute sharks out there. Everybody Google a picture of an epaulet shark. They're adorable. Adorable.
The word adorable and the word shark appear in the same sentence.
They have little fins and they walk and they're super cute. Also, bonnet heads are adorable. They look like they have little bonnets on their heads.
Take it from Jasmin. She has so picked up and held so many sharks.
She's picked up sharks. Okay. All right. So let's keep this going.
Neil,
Jordan.
I got something from Facebook. Joe Klopp. He wonders, given the fact that sharks are neither born live or hatched from what we would normally refer to as an egg, what does baby shark do?
So
I didn't know any of that. So could you just catch me up on this, please?
I want to clarify something. So there are sharks that are born live. It's not like a placental birth, like a mammal. But yes, there are sharks that are born live. There are also sharks that come from eggs, but aren't like chicken eggs. They're like little leathery looking little pouches that are sometimes called mermaid purses, which is an adorable name. But yes, so baby sharks, what do baby sharks do? They just try to survive because sharks don't have parental care. So like you are born and you are on your own. Whether you're born live or you hatch, they'll try and lay their eggs in a place where they're like, this feels like a good spot. I feel like my kids are going to have a chance here. And then they're just like, bye, kids. And then the sharks that give live birth, they like pop them out and the sharks swim away and they're like, cool, my work here's done.
Wow. So mammals have very few births per litter. And so how many possible sharks can come out of a one egg laying session?
That depends on the shark. There are some sharks that give live birth and they only have one. And that's usually because the one that develops first just like eats the rest or it ingests the rest of them. And it's like, cool, thanks for the nutrients.
Jordan, did you hear that euphemism? It ingests them. Right?
It
doesn't maul them in their sleep. No, it ingests.
I get what you're throwing down. Yeah, okay. Ingest them.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there are some sharks that have very large litters, like 20 or more, but it kind of really just varies between the different sharks of how many they're having. And even within species, there's often a range.
Okay. All right. So we in mammals, their mammary food for them. What's the first thing a baby shark eats?
So for the ones that are cannibalistic, they're siblings. For the ones that are not, it's a shark eats shark world.
You know what? And you want us to not be afraid of sharks?
They eat their own siblings.
Yikes. The parents drop them off and are like, "You're good. Eat your brother."
Sure.
Well, usually,
if your little brother's annoying, just eat him.
The eating of the siblings usually happens inside the mom. So if the mom doesn't even see the other ones,
that's worse. I don't know. Something that's worse. That's worse. Okay. She said, wait, Jordan. She said that like, no, it's different. It happens inside the mother.
It's an entire family working together to eat one of them.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens. And then the rest of them, usually it's yolk. They'll have a yolk attached to them, a yolk sac. That's their nutrients. And then once that's gone, usually they've developed enough where they can hunt on their own. And so usually they're either cannibalistic or they had a yolk.
Man, that's a tough life. I'm staying on land, by the way. I'm not going to be one of those that goes back in.
Yeah, it feels much safer here.
Jordan, give me another one.
Yes. We have here from Zenzino Ferrara from Facebook. Since we know our moons have influence on tides in our oceans, there is some kind of influence. There's some kind of influence by the moon in sharks' lives.
Oh, interesting.
As in the zones they choose to live in our oceans. And all the best to you guys. I hope you stay safe.
Excellent question. Thank you for that. Yeah. So, Jasmin, tell me about the astronomical influences on shark behavior.
Yeah, so that's something that a lot of sharks actually, we think that their migrations are actually triggered by moon phases and things like that.
Only if they're Sagittarius, and then they'll.
And then there's a lot of, obviously the tides and the moon are really, really connected. And so there's a lot of sharks that move with the tides, looking for their prey. So they'll.
Could it be that because when the tide goes out, deep water becomes shallow and certain fishes become, if not entirely stranded, they certainly can't escape to safety. Would a shark risk getting stranded itself to go on shallow tide waters?
Yeah, so sharks go into shallow areas and then there are some sharks that can handle lower salinities. And so they'll actually swim up into the rivers with the tides. And they get everything that's like coming in because they're like, oh, okay, the tide is changing and their food is kind of moving with the tides. And then they kind of get funneled into the mouth of this river because there's only one way for them to go. And then the sharks will be like, haha, smorgasbord. And they just sit there at the mouth of the river and they're just like, I'm going to eat everything that's trying
So the sharks took Astronomy 101. They know about tides and estuaries and brackish water versus fresh water. These are intelligent sharks. They are evolving intelligence the way that earlier question had inquired. We'll find out. In another million years, they'll be running the world.
It's coming right from the horse's mouth there. Neil. Now I'm afraid of rivers. I thought rivers were safe. Now you tell me sharks are sneaking up there as well.
Yeah, this is a very depressing session here.
I know.
Yeah, there are some sharks that can handle lower salinity waters for short periods of time. Bull sharks are the most famous of these. They can go up in the river. and then they'll come back. They have some special adaptations that help them maintain balance even when they're in lower salinity waters, which is super cool.
All right. Time for a few more.
Yep, I got one from Twitter. Nathan Warden. How exactly do sharks smell blood in the water? And what is the real range of that smell?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. How fast can blood travel in water anyway?
So blood doesn't travel very fast in water. So you know how, so there's this myth that like, ooh, you have a drop of blood, a shark is going to smell it from a mile away. And I'm like, that's not how molecules move. It has to dissipate. It's going to take a long time to dissipate. Just like if you're on one side of the room and someone farts on the other side, and there's like this wave where everyone across the room is slowly smelling it before you get it.
In sequence. And
you're like, ooh, there's a bad smell coming, but there's no escaping it because you just see everyone reacting to it. That's just how smells dissipate in the air. The same thing happens in the water. So it's not like there's a drop of blood and all of a sudden, a mile away, this shark is like, oh, there's blood. No, it has to dissipate. And in actuality, that's way too diluted at that point. A mile away, it's going to be too diluted for them to actually detect it. The most sensitive sharks, it would probably be more like a quarter of a mile before it gets to the point where it would be too diluted for them to be able to detect it.
Plus, plus if there are ocean currents, they wouldn't be able to smell it upstream. They've got to be like downstream from it.
Yeah, there's all sorts of things that need to happen. It's not like, oh, you have a drop of blood and suddenly all of the sharks in the world are just like descending upon you. That's not how that happens. Also, sharks aren't interested in the smell of human blood because they don't eat humans. Like they would smell it, but they wouldn't react to it. Now, if you have a bunch of fish bleeding, yeah, okay, then they're going to come check it out. But if it's humans' blood, that's not something that they're cued into because that's not what they eat. So they would smell it, but they wouldn't be like, oh, that smells delicious. Let me go snack. That's not going to be their reaction.
But if I've had like fish oil pills that morning, I cut my finger on a Bud Light and I go into the water, how nervous should I be?
You should not be nervous. You should not be nervous.
Drink and swim away. Okay.
You would be fine.
Right.
So just time for like a few more. Maybe we can do a lightning round. So let's try it. Jordan, go.
This is from Mike Irish 85 on Instagram. Studies have shown that low-frequency sound pollution possibly have negative effects on animal behavior in the ocean. Do sharks show up in these studies, and what are the effects?
Ooh, nice one. So like the rumble of a cruise ship rotors, the propeller blades. Yeah, so what do we know about that, Jasmin?
Yeah, there have been studies where they played sounds underwater and had baited cameras. And there was less shark activity around the baited cameras when there were artificial sounds played. So it does affect them.
Baited, you mean it's got food for them, so they might want to come to the food. So this is a good experiment to see if the sound is so bad for them that they'll forego the food.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. But no one cares about the sharks, so we don't care.
I care about the sharks, y'all.
Oh, you care
I care about the sharks.
You care. Okay. So no one except Jasmin cares about sharks. Okay. All right, Jordan, good quick answer. Let's see how many more we can get in.
This is from Amir John Skur on Instagram. Are great white sharks really afraid of dolphins?
It's more like a competition thing. Not necessarily fear, just like we're eating the same things. And if you're here, then I have to compete with someone. So I'm going to go hunt somewhere where there's not anyone competing with me.
Oh, okay. That's the smart thing to do.
Yeah. Work smarter, not harder. That's the motto of the sharks.
Okay.
It's not eat your brother if things don't work out.
Oh, man, I should not have mentioned that.
I'm not going to shake that for years. No.
And to be clear, that question was a gimme. That question was about Baby Shark. That was about a children's cartoon, and you were like, we should talk about childhood cannibalism. Here's another fun one. This is from Joe Placebo on Instagram. Are the Greenland sharks really over 500 years old, and what makes them different from other sharks?
Yeah, how long do sharks live?
So, yeah, okay. So the Greenland shark's age is a topic of discussion among scientists. So people say 400 maybe, but like, we're just around there. At least we've got it close. So yeah, they live a long time.
Wait. We didn't even know Greenland existed 400 years. No, I don't know when it was discovered, but we can't have possibly had good data 400 years ago to age date a shark from 400 years ago. How do we know this?
There's other ways to do dating. You could do carbon dating. You could look at the calcification on vertebrae because they'll have rings,
dead sharks.
Just like dead sharks.
Dead sharks.
They're not asking the sharks how old they are. No.
Right. Okay.
That thing.
The modern shark.
I was going to say, the census is hard enough to get everybody to apply in America, let alone Greenland sharks. Good luck getting an accurate count.
Then how many people in the household? Well, I ate them.
Yeah. Do you have any siblings? That's a difficult question for me to answer.
Yeah. Junior used to live then, but not anymore.
We used to. Let's see. At the beginning of the year, there was 3 siblings.
Whatever happened to Junior?
He was my brother. Now he's just indigestion.
So, is it true that sharks just keep growing their whole lives?
They do. They have what's called indeterminate growth, which means as long as they're alive, they will keep growing. Obviously, it slows down when they get older. But yes, they do keep growing. So the bigger the shark, the older it is.
So but the jury's still out on exactly how old the Greenland sharks might be.
Yeah.
But hundreds, clearly.
Hundreds, yeah.
Damn.
We have some specimens, but like I said, we can't ask all the Greenland sharks. So whoever you sampled, that's like, okay, we found a Greenland shark that's this old, but there could be others that are older. That one could be the exception and not the rule. So
it could be Jordan's uncle, right?
Yeah, Jordan's uncle.
He's gonna survive forever.
So we've got to actually bring this to a close. Let me just offer a reflection here, based on all I've gleaned in this conversation, Jasmin. Thank you for these enlightening points. I just wonder if climate change continues and we keep destroying the whale population. Okay, whales are not, I don't know how much they're coming back. That could take away part of what's the term you use for who's at the top of the food chain? You had a great term for that.
Apex predator.
Apex predator. So then the shark there's nothing topper higher than the shark, right? Then we go extinct on land. And then the shark figures out it could come out of the water and go on land. And so if we come back in, a million years, it won't be Planet of the Apes. It'd be Planet of the Sharks. And the sharks would be like town mayor and the police and so that somebody needs to write that story.
And in the 6th iteration of it, I know who's going to play Merlin.
I'll be there if you need it. Jasmin Graham, thank you. This is your first time on Star Talk, I think. Is that right? Yeah, well, thank you. And sharks they're perennially interesting to so many people, myself included, and I think maybe Jordan. So we'll try to have to get you back on. And because Jordan, how many questions did we not ask? Because we ran out of time.
Honestly, there were a ton. I got 10 more pages of questions.
10 pages, okay. So we'll hold on to those pages. So Jasmin, again, you're co-founder of Minorities in Shark Sciences. And so we'll see more people of color in a field that historically we've never seen anybody of color. And you're also project coordinator of the Moat Marine Laboratory and Aquarium. Very cool. So you're in it. Stay with it. Stay healthy. And Jordan, what's your latest project? When you're not interviewing Trump supporters, what do you do next?
Well, I'm following the campaign with The Daily Show, and I'm about to become a father real soon. So that's my next big project.
A first-time father?
First-time dad.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes. So I'm going to get to know that baby shark real soon.
I would recommend not introducing your child to baby shark. You will never hear the end of it.
I'm going to take that. That's advice from an expert. I'm going to take it.
Jasmin, delighted to meet you. Jordan, always good to have you. I'm Neil deGrasse Tyson, your personal astrophysicist, signing off, as always, by bidding you to keep looking up.
This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. It's important to take care of your mental health, and if you're looking for some tips on how to do just that, here's Angela Kinsey and Jenna Fisher from the Office Ladies podcast.
I know a lot of times people make resolutions in the new year, but to make a resolution stick, sometimes you have to examine some of the deeper issues that might keep you from reaching your goals. For example, you say, "Oh, I want to get in shape." And so you get a gym membership, but you don't take the time to unpack those reasons why you continue to make unhealthy choices.
Oh, that's so good. Just you saying that is making me think why I don't exercise.
Right? Sometimes you think, oh, I don't deserve the time for myself. Why don't you think you deserve the time for yourself? BetterHelp is a great place to unpack some of these bad habits.
BetterHelp offers online professional counselors who can help. You can connect with your counselor in a safe, private, and confidential online environment.
These counselors are trained in a variety of areas. 2020 was a hard year.
Yes.
A lot of extra stress. A lot of us have been stuck in the same house with people, and maybe that's led to some relationship issues.
I really like their approach to finding a counselor that meets your needs because I think that's always the most intimidating part for me.
BetterHelp is a convenient and affordable option, and our listeners get 10% off their first month with the discount code STITCHER. Get started today at betterhelp.com/Stitcher. The new year can be a good time for a mental health check-in. If you always wanted to try therapy, or you'd like to try it again, or if you just need to talk some things out, BetterHelp offers online licensed professional therapists who are trained to listen and to help with issues including relationship conflicts, depression, self-esteem, grief, and more. With BetterHelp, you can simply fill out a questionnaire to help assess your specific needs and then get matched with your counselor in under 48 hours. Easily schedule secure video or phone sessions, plus exchange unlimited messages with your therapist from anywhere. Everything you share is confidential. And if for any reason you're unhappy with your counselor, you can request a new one at any time at no additional charge. Join the 1 million plus people who have taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced BetterHelp counselor. BetterHelp is a convenient and affordable option, and our listeners get 10% off their first month with the discount code STITCHER. Get started today at betterhelp.com/Stitcher. There's no shame in asking for help.